Hi, today's date is July 23rd, 2021. For today's video source inspection, we have a fully refurbished 8300S model SRD with SlickDevice controllers. Due to confidentiality reasons, I will not share my customer's identity with you, but for their identification purposes, I will say the PO number. Customer is located in the state of Florida, and the PO number is 0000-93232. We're going to run a complete recipe today to show the functionality of this 8300S model SRD. The recipe we'll be using is a 60-second rinse followed by a 10-second purge that goes into the high RPM, the 1800. Staying at a high speed, we'll dry for 90 seconds before we slow it down for an additional 300 seconds and dry too at 500 RPMs and really let the heaters do the action. We spin faster to sling as much excess water off the wafers and cassette as possible before really letting the dryers dry. Before we begin, let's see what we're working with. We have warm N2 purging into the bowl. We just ran a recipe, that's why it's warm. We have a full cassette of wafers. And let's go down low to the bottom head. N2 is purging into the bowl. Also a full boat of wafers. Alright, well, we have the ready light is on. We're going to start these at the same time and it'll show that we're spinning. Boom, we're spinning. So there's also a light indicator for when maintenance mode is needed or if there's an error. If you look at our SlickDevice controller, you can see which valves are on. When the heaters and anti-static turn on, the graphics will also show accordingly what is working. I'll touch a little bit on our controller, but I do want to point that on our YouTube channel, our company president, Jim Mullaney, has a very thorough training video on our SlickDevice controllers. It's about 22 minutes long, and he goes through all the features, maintenance mode, the anti-static and heater monitoring graphs, and more. But we'll get back there. So we're running smooth. 25 seconds left in rinse. When we start speeding up, the water will sling in a circular motion, and there will be less and less droplets of water as we progress through the recipe. So let's talk refurbishments. Every SRD that goes through the refurbishment process at Sitek goes through the exact same process. First, we take tools and break them down to the component level. From there, we chemically clean and electropolish all metal parts, as well as individually inspect all parts for function. So we're speeding up, and now you see we're spinning in a circle with our water droplets. Once all parts are prepped, that's when we begin building up bare SRD head assemblies from the ground up. That means none of this poly enclosure, none of the cart, just the mechanical tool. Once we build up the tool, this goes into our first quality control checkpoint, which we call dry test. In dry test, we do testing for full functionality without facilities installed and make any adjustments necessary. Once the tool passes our dry QC, it goes into wet test. In wet test, we test the SRD for full function with facilities installed. Lastly, the SRD goes into final test, which is the configuration you see before you today. Obviously, this is a complete double stack. We have beautiful brand new poly for this build. We have SlickDevice controllers with the light indicators. We even have the EMO switch option here for this customer. So we have 30 seconds left in our dry one. I will point again that we do have the training video that Jim Mullaney does, but the SlickDevice controllers have advantages where you can monitor your anti-static and heater elements through a graph that shows a pulsing mechanism. That way, you can know if your heating elements or anti-static are failing before they fail. This means that you can prevent particle issues as well as some throughput issues if you're not drying your wafers. Other advantage is N2 purge saver option. You can save money on N2 by using the N2 purge saver valve and shutting off N2 in between recipes. If you're concerned about not having N2 purging into the bowl, you can have an auto purge turn on and set it on a timer in between recipes. N2 purges into the bowl until you open, then close the door again. So we're running smooth. We're back at a slow RPM speed. I've touched a little bit on our SlickDevice maintenance mode. You can actuate all the valves without running a recipe. So this controller is a tech's dream. You can do troubleshooting without having to run a recipe and take off all the poly. You can just go into your SlickDevice and check everything one by one. All right, 250 seconds to go. Let's go ahead and talk about spare parts and service. Sitek is the worldwide leader in semi-tool spare parts and service. We provide 100% of the spare parts and repairs necessary to upkeep your semi-tool SRDs. The larger components that we repair include rotors, which we rebalance, motors, which we repair. This includes the brush type, whether it's a 1/3 or 1/2 horsepower. We repair brushless motors, which these S models use. We repair LC4 and LC5 servo amps or automotion controllers. Every customer has a different term they like to use for them. And as well as controllers. This includes 228s, 328s, PSC 101s, and PSC 102 controllers. Our SlickDevice S1 is a direct replacement for PSC 101 and 102 controllers. We also have an F1 for our customers that use F models, those also use PSC 101 and 102s. All right, 3 minutes to go. All these larger components that I just mentioned that we repair can be provided in new or refurbished condition. If you have any questions, give us a phone call at 916-797-9000 where we'll connect you with the proper sales rep. If you know what you need, you can visit our website, submit a formal RFQ there at www.sitekprocess.com. You can also email us directly at sales@sitekprocess.com. Our website's a good resource for our entire spare parts catalog as well as our equipment that we provide too. Okay, just over 2.5 minutes to go. Let's list off some other parts we repair. Start switches, stop switches, door seals, windows, pressure switches, N2 filters, ACR valves, solenoid valves, tax sensors, anti-static modules, N2 heaters, heater blankets, motor isolators. Any part you can think of, 100% spare parts and service means 100% spare parts and service. I did save the rotor stop positioner, which is the pneumatic piston at the back of the tool. This fires the rotor into the upright position at the end of the cycle once we spin down to 75 RPMs. We'll talk about the rotor stop positioner, or what I like to say is RSP for short, at the end of the recipe. So keep that in your brain for the end. So we're nice and smooth. We've talked about our refurbishment process, our semi-tool spare parts and service support. I also want to mention that we are the OEM for Vertec SRDs now. We bought this product line from Martech a couple of years back. So if you have any Vertec SRD questions, you need parts, repairs, or refurbishments, or a tool, we can help you there too. So equipment that we can provide at Sitek. We're not just limited to the Vertec and semi-tool SRDs. If you look at our YouTube channel, you'll see all types of configurations of SRDs, semi-tool and Vertec that we've worked on, but there's a variety of equipment that you'll also see there too. Equipment we can provide includes box washers such as the HTC 8010, 8020, and 8030, mask cleaners including K&S and Ultra T models, metrology tools including profilometers, ellipsometers, resistivity, and more. We provide barrel ashers and etchers, YES ovens, a variety of microscopes, and I do want to point out right now we have a handful of spray solvent tools available too for purchase. All right, there was one other thing I wanted to touch base on. If you use IDI, SIBO, or Millipore pumps, Sitek's also a good resource for you. We provide these pumps and we also repair them. So if you have any pump needs, we can help you too. 20 seconds to go. When the clock strikes 0, it's not safe to open the door. We need that RSP I mentioned earlier at the back of the tool to fire the rotor into the 12 o'clock position so the wafers are sticking up. And then we need the door seal to release all air. What's nice about the SlickDevice controller is it's going to tell you while we're braking, and then it's going to tell you when it's safe to open the door. So we're braking now. All right, door seal released. It's going to release, right now. Boom. So we have two ways of acknowledging the recipe now that it's safe to open the door. For the top head, I'm going to acknowledge on the controller. Just hit OK. Let's see how we did. We have warm and tube purging in the bowl. Residual droplets of water in the bowl. This is good. You don't want your bowl to be bone dry. Cassette is warm to the touch and wafers are dry. This was a successful process run. And you know what? There's only one drop of water on the window. That's great. Let's go down low. So I clicked OK up there. You can just open the door. That's the other way to acknowledge. Warm and tube purging into the bowl. Residual droplets of water in the bowl. Cassette is warm to the touch. Wafers are dry. Another successful recipe. And on this one, I can't even see a drop of water. If there's one there, it's too small. So this was a successful run. Our customers can be very pleased. In addition to filming this video source inspection and final test, we do over 50 various recipes at different speeds. So the burn-in testing is what we like to call that. Has been performed. The video has now been filmed. We'll share this with the customer and we'll ship it to them, and they're going to be so happy to install it. Thanks for watching.